After 13 years as a prisoner in Guantanamo Bay, Abdulhadi Faraj is now a free man shopping for wedding rings in Uruguay. The US kept him locked up because they believed he was a terrorist, a fighter alongside Al-QAEDA in Afghanistan, who trained to be a suicide bomber around the time of 9/11. A Department of Defense report released by WikiLeaks claims he had seen bin Laden and fought in the Tora Bora mountain complex against American forces. Some politicians believe he is still a threat, but Faraj insists he is innocent and that he was targeted simply because of his religion.
وصراحة هي كانت القضية مع بوش أوباما أو أمريكا قضية لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله أنك مسلم. هذه القضية كلها.
Faraj says that while in Guantanamo he was subjected to harsh interrogations and treatment.
يعني يمنعوك من حتى الخلاء يعني في حلقة بالأرض ورجولك وإيديك بالأرض يعني ما تصير تتحركي ويشغلوا عليك الموسيقى العالية والضوء العالي. بعض الناس يدخلوا عليك النساء يعني يسووا لك حركات جنسية النساء هكذا.
Sexual harassment and other enhanced interrogation techniques were common complaints among Guantanamo detainees. But the details of Faraj's incarceration can't be verified, and the US does not comment on individual cases. A 2005 review of Guantanamo interrogation practices called the Church Report concluded that the number of detainee injuries at the hands of interrogators was extremely low, and in justifying various interrogation methods like sleep deprivation and stress positions, the executive editor of the report wrote in the Wall Street Journal that in the post-9/11 world, we face an enemy that wears no uniform, blends in with civilian populations, and operates in the shadows, and that drawing out useful information has become more difficult. Faraj was never charged during his time behind bars, and now the 34-year-old from Syria is suddenly back in the outside world. He's in Uruguay, and he says he's trying to start his life over.
وأنا أعتبرها هي الولاية الثانية يعني بعد الأولى الولاية الأم والثانية ولاية خروجي من السجن يعني.
He is religiously devout, and his Uruguayan fiancée converted from Christianity to Islam and changed her name to Fatima. She covers her face on camera at his request. What led Faraj to prison in the first place is a murky story that starts in Syria, where he was born. The following details of his story come entirely from him and haven't been independently verified. Faraj says he left the country when he was 19, a year before 9/11. He says he was trying to get to Saudi Arabia to find work and that the journey took him through Iran. But after a few months of feeling like an outsider, he left for Afghanistan, where he was told there was a big Arab community. He arrived in Kabul in early 2001. What happened next depends on who you believe, Faraj or the US Department of Defense. Faraj says that after 9/11, when the US started launching airstrikes in Afghanistan, he fled Kabul for the Pakistan border out of fear. There, he says, the Pakistani military detained him and handed him over to the Americans simply because he was Arab. He was eventually moved to Guantanamo in June 2002. The US says that Faraj was a member of a dismantled Syrian terrorist cell who traveled to Afghanistan, ultimately heading to Al-QAEDA's Tora Bora complex to join the fight against the US. They say he was captured with others as he was trying to escape the American offensive. As recently as 2008, the US Defense Department still considered him a high risk to the US and of high intelligence value. Faraj says the US got the wrong man and that he was never politically engaged or even up on the latest news.
وقت صارت المشكلة إني سمعت صارت في مشكلة في أمريكا بس ما أدري إيش تفاصيلها يعني ما كنت قبل تسمع إني بن لادن ملا عمر ما إيش كنت تسمعي.
In 2009, Faraj was cleared to be transferred after a task force report concluded that the links some prisoners had to Al-QAEDA were too hard to verify. It took 5 years before Uruguay took him and 5 other detainees and agreed to help them get on their feet. Today, he believes that his time in Guantanamo wasn't for nothing.
هذا فخر لي أصلاً أنا مسلم وكل مسلم يعني لازم يمر بالحياة هاي بابتلاء بالأسر ولا بالكسر ولا بالبتر ولا بحادث ولا بمرض هذا كل إنسان سيمر فيه يعني.
When Faraj and the 5 other detainees were transferred in December 2014, they had a letter from the US stating that there was no information the men conducted terrorist activities against the United States or its allies. In other words, Faraj was cleared, at least on paper. In May, Faraj signed a lease on an apartment in Montevideo, but bureaucratic and financial obstacles prevent him from leaving the country anytime soon. It's unclear what Faraj's feelings were about America back in 2001, but today it's very clear he feels bitter.
يعني احنا ما نطمع ما عند الله يعني، وعند الله ما يضيع شيء. كل إنسان سيأخذ حقه. ونسأل الله يعني لا يحرم الأجر، يعني نسأل الله يتقبل السنوات اللي مضت هاي. والظالم نسأل الله ينتقم منه يعني.